everyone, and welcome to our channel. Today we are here in the town of Newcrest, and we are working on our final lot here on Main Street. I have quite the variety of little shops planned to put into this lot, but we are only focusing in on 3 today. We are going to build a craft store, a butcher shop, and a bookstore. So like I said, this lot is quite large. It's a 40 by 30. I do plan on coming back to this in a future video to expand this fully. I really wanted to make this seem as lively and realistic as possible. So this whole series of building up Main Street in Newcrest, my inspiration for the style of buildings here has been basically old little town in America. There are hundreds of these towns all across the United States. And yes, they vary depending on where you are in the country, but a lot of them kind of all have that same feel. Like I'm using a lot of brick here. And if you've watched some of my other builds in this series, you might notice that I'm using some of the same elements like these windows and pillars, and yes, some of that brick right there for the butcher shop in the middle I have reused. And you might be wondering, well, why does everything look the same? That's kind of boring. Hopefully it's not boring. But I really wanted everything to kind of look like it was all built at the same time, that it all kind of blends seamlessly. So this whole Main Street, I just really wanted everything to just feel like it all fits together. So if you're wondering why I'm reusing some of the same elements, that is why. But here we go into our first shop here, and this is going to be the craft store. Thankfully, with having Nifty Knitting now, I really feel like I was able to pull this store together. It would have been challenging. I could have done it without that pack. That pack has so many like cute little knickknacks and cute little clutter items that I feel like you would definitely find in a craft store. I did also use the needlepoint items from Cottage Living. Perfect. Like we're getting all these packs now with these little bits and pieces of crafting items, which I think are really cool. So I think this was a perfect time to be able to build this craft store. Like, see, isn't this stuff cute? It's so cute, all these little art supplies and stuff for hobbies. It's just, I think it was so perfect here. And the ball of yarn, which I'm doing here, unfortunately, you will not be able to use in a retail setting. That's just for looks. If you wanted to place them on shelves and sell them, you definitely could. I wanted this little basket full that you would just kind of pick and choose, and maybe it's, I don't know, stuff that they're trying to clear out and be like, all right, just pick and choose this many for a certain price. Right now, I'm going to be setting up some tables, and that's where I'm putting the needlepoint things. I don't know. I don't do this kind of crafting. You guys will have to tell me. Needlepoint, cross stitch, something like that. The proper term, I don't know. But yeah, that was from Cottage Living, so I thought that was really cute, and all the little baskets, boxes underneath with all your essentials. Okay, and here you might be wondering, why are you putting towels in? Just hear me on this, go with me on this. I was trying to create bolts of fabric that you would find in a craft store, and I really had to think, okay, I have no idea how I'm gonna do this. I really have no idea. And I don't know what it was that it came to me. I think maybe just scrolling through the catalog, and I'm like, you dummy, you can use towels. And I think they actually turned out really good. I think they do look like fabric bolts. As long as you don't see that backside, which kind of keep that hidden, I think it looks like fabric. Unfortunately, we don't have sewing machines in the game. Maybe in the future. We had that in The Sims too. Oh my gosh, it was so cute when you could sew stuff and your sim would sit at the sewing table. I thought that was so cute. I am not into that sort of craft myself, but so many people in real life are, and I miss that so much. But here we are. We're on the second floor now, and I figured this was mostly painting, art supplies. I did put in right there, that's the candle making table. Not very realistic that it's being sold with splatter of wax all over it, but that's all I had. So, I mean, it's a good piece that you can put up for sale that should make your Sims some decent money, I also figured. And then, yeah, I have this whole table here of crafting stuff with your wax and candles, all that fun stuff. And then I did have to add in the kids' crafting stuff because the kids need something to do. I thought about putting in some of the like homework kit things from Parenthood that are projects, but I don't know. I didn't really feel like that fit in here too well. If the shop was a lot bigger, I could have had like a whole kids section. I could do this again and do that. That would be fun. But moving along here, we are in the butcher shop. This was so much fun. This is also a challenge. As you will see, I had to use T.O.O.L to create an item that we don't have anything like it in game. I don't know what it was. I think it's just those old town butchers that I felt like I had to put this in somewhere in on Main Street. I mean, these places they've been a huge part of our society for so long in so many countries. It's kind of interesting because they can date back in history to 1272 in England, when butchers formed their first trade guild, where people would get together, they would talk about their trade, their craft, and this was considered a trade and a craft. We've kind of lost that in history nowadays. We don't have as many butchers as we used to. In the town I live in, there is a small little butcher shop that I have been to before. I think it's so cool. It's not the same in grocery stores, supermarkets, and basically those were the people that put butchers out of business. Just with the whole factories coming in and taking things over. I mean, that's basically what happened. Is first grocery stores happened in the early 1900s. That kind of evolved into supermarkets, and that was now a one-stop shop for everything. Whereas before, you had to go to multiple stores to get all the items you need, and you would go to the butcher's shop specifically for your meat. So when these supermarkets started offering everything, this forced butchers out of business because they did this on a mass scale, so then they were able to lower prices. Fortunately, the quality of the meat went down, but people were happy. It was convenient. It was cheap. Oh, so here we go. Just changing the subject a little bit. This is what I had to do with T.O.O.L. That big giant slab of meat that you would usually see a side of an animal hanging in the window. That's what I was going for there. Yes, it's not perfect. I know. I tried so hard. Like I said, don't have a lot in catalog to make that, so it's made out of a ton of steaks. Here I'm creating just a little workspace for the butcher. I figure between customers, he may be cutting up some meats to put on display. That was also something that was really nice about going to a butcher. I mean, if you still do, you can go in and ask for specific cuts of meat, and then they will cut it for your liking, however you want it done. They can offer you tips on how to cook it, what specific cuts to use for whatever you may be doing in your cooking. It is a trade that you do not find a real butcher at a supermarket. So I figured this is the space here to prep those nice thick steaks for customers. I had a lot of fun actually putting the displays together. So what I was able to find in debug was yeah, cuts of meat, some cuts of steak, some chicken fillets, chicken fillets, fish fillets. I did put cheese in one, as you'll see. I kind of varied stuff up as good as I could do. Yeah, back there, that was the cheese. I also added some other just basic essentials because some of the butcher shops you go into will offer you some other little things besides meat. So I figured, bread, and there was like some pastries and stuff. So not like a ton of other stuff besides meat, but just a little bit. If you just need some basic things like bread, then you're all set. I also ended up doing something a little bit different with this particular store. And here it is. You may be wondering, what is this? We are in the basement. I built a basement for this. I figured they needed storage for all their excess meat. So that was kind of the refrigerated storage area. That's, yeah, I don't know. Going for the realism again. Also, I made a little kitchen, which wouldn't probably be a butcher's shop, but I figured if you actually wanted to use this as a retail lot, you could cook dishes with meat and sell them. Otherwise, this store is more just for looks, unfortunately. But I'm giving you that option. If you wanted to serve up dishes and put those on display, you can totally do that. Now, here we go. We are in the bookstore now. And I will say right away, what I'm doing here, I end up changing later, so you'll have to stick around for the end of the video where I show pictures. I was just not feeling this. To me, it was just too light and bright, and I wanted it to seem a little darker and older. So I changed it up, and it ended up being a lot darker. You'll see in a bit. I kept the upper levels a little bit lighter. So this bookstore has 3 levels. Also something that I decided to do a little bit differently. I don't usually build with 3 levels, but I really wanted to do that with this and just create more of that realism of different building styles within this same strip. So that's what I did here. Just a little side note. So each of these stores has its own bathroom. Yes. Wants attention. Okay, needy. So needy. Each of these places has their own bathroom. So the craft store, it's on the upper level. The butcher shop is in the basement. I figured that wouldn't be accessed by customers, but the other 2 places could be. So, and then the bookshop, it's on the, oh man, I don't even remember if it's on the 3rd or the 2nd level. I don't remember, but there's a bathroom in each. There is, once again, a toddler potty in one of them. I might actually go back in and put a toddler potty in the craft store, just because, yeah, if you want to take your whole family here for the day, and I feel like that would be realistic for gameplay and storytelling, toddlers need something. And also why I'm creating this cute little kids nook here for reading. If this place would have been bigger, I totally would have done a big space for kids, but I don't know, I thought this was cute and cozy and the kids can go sit over there and look at books. I don't know, I thought it was kind of cute. And then, okay. It's very needy today. The upper level, you won't necessarily see it, but I put a bunch of like university student books up there, so I figured this is a place where even the young adults and university students can come and get their supplies. I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool. I don't keep in all the footage with all the clutter just because I put in a lot of books. This place has a ton of books. This could definitely operate as retail, as a bookstore, and things would work and you wouldn't have to change anything. So, yeah, all these 3 lots can be their own retail. I mean, once you have it as retail, this whole entire lot will be retail. And then you might want to pick and choose which store you want to use. You could lock doors and keep people out. I don't know. I just, people would be in other shops and looking at stuff. It could be fun. be interesting to like fully test it out. I always test out these builds gameplay wise to make sure things work and getting footage of Sims doing things. So I do know that they're functional, but like I said, having 3 retail lots all running at the same time that you would actually own all them might be a little bit crazy. Well now, are you curious about what we're gonna build next week? Well, don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications. If you want to find out, don't forget to give us a like. We're gonna let you just enjoy the rest of the video, and we will see you all next week. Bye!